we've got a great day ahead of us. It's going to be phenomenal. And I'll tell you what, just getting ready for these calls and having a conversation with you has been phenomenal. So I really appreciate you being here, being with me, being a part of this tribe. In order to help the tribe grow, we need to all understand that we're all in this together. We have so much to learn from each other. And it's been great to have you all along with me. And I believe in my heart of hearts, I believe that you are going to continue to go with me and to make this group better, because it's a foundation that we're laying. We all need to understand that everyone around us is a part of the foundation. And sometimes there are blocks that don't fit. And we need to set those blocks to the side, but then put the blocks in place that can fit. There's a lot going on here, a lot of things that I'm thinking about, but I'm telling you what, you and I together are going to make this a great organization, because this is all about having a vision alignment. It's all about embracing your own personal blindness to achieve a greater vision for your life. That's what we do. We do it every day, and we're going to continue to do it. So thank you for being on with me. I'll tell you, I've had some conversations last night and today that make me even more passionate about what it is that I'm doing. So in the whole organization, or Radical Vision is doing. Got an email last night from a lady that says, she's had a rough go of it in 2020, and she's not doing that well. So she needs some help. She needs somebody to help coach her and to bring her along the way, and to help her to just get through 2020 and go beyond in 2021 and make 2021 a great year. And I am going to work with her and help her to do that. So I got to tell you how important that is, that people are reaching out and talking to me about what's going on in their lives. And there's so much that we have that it's hard at times. We all have hard times. Even I have hard times, if you can believe that. But we all have hard times. We need to get through them, because once we get through them, there's another side. And the other side, it's beautiful. It's always going to be beautiful. So I encourage you to just keep working. Keep doing what you're doing. Reach out to me if you need to, and I'm definitely here to help you. So again, understand that bad things happen, and we have tough days, but we can have better days going forward. So that's number one. Number two is a conversation that I had with a gentleman this morning, where we were talking about what's going on and his history, what he'd gone through, and how he had worked for a company and he hadn't had much luck with the company, and he was really butting heads with the president of the company. He was in a vice president role, but it was just hard to get to a point where he knew, or he felt as though his vision was aligned with the company's vision, that his core beliefs really are aligned with the company vision. So he got to a point where he didn't think he could go on any further. So he stopped what he was doing. He branched out and did a different thing. He pivoted, if you will, and he started to do something different. It's important for us all to understand that we need to be aligned with our company's vision. We all have jobs, and in certain instances, our jobs will be, working for someone else, or we'll be working for ourselves. But even when you are working for yourself, if you're not embracing your core values, if you're not showing your core values and working through them day in and day out, all the time, you're not going to have success. You're not going to get to a point where you feel as though, okay, this is what I should be doing. It's always going to feel distant from you. It's going to feel removed. It's going to feel dirty at times. But if you can begin to understand that your core values are where you need to start, you need to start with what is in your core, and then begin to move forward and begin to understand that everything you do should be in line with that. That's why we call this show Vision Alignment. is because it is aligning, making sure that your vision is aligned with what it is you do every day. So I'm just so glad you're here to hear about this, to talk about this. I'd love to hear from you as well. Anything you might have to say in those regards. I know we have a few people that have already jumped online, and let's see here. What do we have to say? So, and Rhonda Benscooter. Good morning, Rhonda from Signet, Ohio. Thank you very much for joining. And who else do we have? Jamal Marshall. Good morning, Jamal. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Tell me where you're at, and again, if you're coming in live, put in a hashtag live, and if you're listening to this on replay, put in a hashtag replay. And as always, we do have this raffle going on, and it's going to help you to get a copy of my book. So if you put a picture of yourself in your timeline, if you're on LinkedIn, or do that, or if you're on Facebook, you can do that. In your timeline, put a picture of yourself winking. And as you wink, I want you to begin to think, if this guy next to me, or this guy, me, knows what makes him unique, and it's not his eye, I wonder what makes me unique. So the whole idea is that I know what makes me unique, and it's not my one eye. What makes me unique is my positive personality, and how I'm able to share that positive personality and my story with other people to make their lives better. So that's why it's so important for us all to understand what makes us unique. If we can understand what makes us unique, why we are different from other people, what sets us apart, then we're going to be able to use that to help make someone else's life better. That's what I do day in and day out. As I've already said, I help people to embrace their own personal blindness to achieve a greater vision for their lives. Now, that blindness doesn't mean it's negative. It's not always negative. Blindness can be positive as well. Blindness can be that you're not seeing the value that you bring to the world. You don't see what makes you unique. Well, I can help you with that. And that's what we do on this show, and we're going to continue to do that going forward. So again, vision alignment is understanding that uniqueness and then making sure that your uniqueness, your core values are aligned with the company goals. And the company, again, could be yourself. It could be your own company or another company that you're working for. So a few other people have joined here. Let's see. Good morning. We got Jamal. Thank you very much from DC. Thank you. I appreciate that. You've indicated that you were from DC. And Randall Reeder, I believe you're from Columbus, actually Hilliard, Ohio. Not very far from where I live. So thank you for joining, everyone. I appreciate you all. And again, let's just continue to think about what it is that we're doing. So, not only what it is that we're doing from a day in and day out perspective with our jobs and how we need to be aligned with our jobs, aligned with our employers, but how we also need to be aligned or know what our core values are. My core values are probably not the same as yours. So if you can understand what yours are, and again, that's another thing that I can help you with, if you'd like help with, to understand what your core values are, then you're going to be able to move forward. There's a process that we take people through in the Deeper Path, because I'm a Deeper Path certified coach, and the Deeper Path is a book, and actually it was a coaching course that was put forward by Kerry Oberbrunner. And in the course, he talks about how, you need to have an opus. And if you can have your opus, you can have your O stands for your overarching vision. The P stands for your purpose. The U is for a unifying strategy. And then the S is for the scorecard for success. Really telling you about what it is you're doing and how successful you are at having an impact on the world. So again, that's something that helps us all to understand our purpose. The Deeper Path book is another book that was created by Kerry, written by Kerry, and in it he talked about how important it was to understand your purpose. Because if you understand your purpose, you're going to be able to go very, very far in life. And And I feel as though a lot of people don't really know what their purpose is. But you can get to a point where you understand your purpose, and you can do that. And I can help you do that. But once you do that, everything changes. I mean, for me, it's taken a while to get there, but I'll tell you, it's been phenomenal to see the growth in my organization, the growth in myself, and the growth in my relationships. It's been incredible. So I encourage you to consider your own purpose and what it is you're doing and how you're being perceived in the world, and then you can start to go from blindness to sight to vision. Because blindness to sight to vision is where you begin to understand your purpose. And that's really the first step that I take people through, is that blindness aspect. And when you understand you're blind, you don't see everything you should be seeing. There's a lot of things that are going on around you that you just don't see. Now, seeing that's from a physical perspective and really from a mental perspective as well. There's a lot of things going on that you just don't see. Well, we talk about blind spots a lot in that regard. And blind spots are anything that's preventing you from seeing what you should be seeing. And then when we begin to have sight, we begin to see our blind spots. And we notice how our blind spots are affecting our daily lives. And they're keeping us from something. It's maybe a promotion, or maybe there's a new job that we want and we've interviewed for, but we just can't get it. We don't know why. You don't know why. Well, maybe there's someone that you're looking to have a relationship with, and for whatever reason, they're not attracted to you. You don't know why. If you can understand why, then you can go to the next step of having sight. That next step would be, really, there's two steps that are included with sight. And sight is more about awareness, having that awareness and understanding not only how you are feeling and how you think about yourself, but also what do other people think about you. Because from your perspective, if you don't perceive yourself as a 10, you're never going to be. If you consider yourself as a 3, you're never going to get to being a 10 or a 9. You can never get to a number higher than the way you perceive yourself. So how do you get to have that perception of yourself that you feel as though you are the bomb? You are the bomb diggity, if you will. Well, I'm telling you, that's what I've gone through. I've gone through a process where I was at a low point and I didn't know how I was going to come back up. But once I started to change my thoughts and change how I thought about myself, then I got to a point where everything changed. And I talk a lot about change, but that's really what happened. Was that change, that process, that change in my own process, my process of thinking. So I encourage you to do that as well. Now, the next step after having the awareness is beginning to have acceptance. Acceptance means that you accept who you are. For a long time, I couldn't accept that I was going to be a guy with one eye. Well, I am a guy with one eye. I'm actually Brian with one eye. Another funny story. But I'll tell you, to understand and to have that acceptance has made all the difference in the world. And that's important. Now, then the next step is when you begin to have vision. And when you begin to have vision, you begin to adopt someone else's vision, or maybe you adapt your own to someone else's, or maybe you just have your own. And that's where you start. If you can have vision, your life is going to change, because then you're going to know your vision matches up with your core beliefs. And that's what makes the difference, is to have those core beliefs that match your vision. And then you go forward. What a great day today. We've got a lot of good stuff going on. The vision is a big part of what we do. Having these conversations has been phenomenal to be able to understand, the importance of vision and going forward and core beliefs. If you don't know your core beliefs, I encourage you to think about them and to understand them and write them down. Much like I've encouraged people to write down in the Wink workbook. Oh, you mean you don't have a Wink workbook yet? We're gonna get you one. I'll put that in the comments of this, and you can understand what it is to have a Wink workbook. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, but it helps you begin to understand what makes you unique and to list it out, to really write it out. That's important. And then you talk about what gets in the way, what causes you to be distracted from your purpose, your mission, what it is you're doing. And then you think about how you have a new way of looking at life, a new way of thinking. And so I've talked about the W, which is why. And then the I is for intentionality, being intentional. And then the N is new way of thinking, a new way of looking at life. But the K then is for kinesthetic. And the K really brings those three together, that W-I-N, and it brings them all together and for the win. So if you can begin to take action and be kinesthetic with what it is you're thinking about, what it is you believe your purpose to be, then you're going to be able to go so much farther. And this is going to be such a much better, more friendly, more happy, more joyous ride. I'm looking forward to being on the ride with you all. I appreciate you being on here this morning, and I appreciate you being, part of this tribe. We're gonna continue on, and we're gonna be back here next week, next Monday at 10 o'clock, and we've got more great guests coming on. We're gonna talk more about them as well. So consider coming on to understand the Wink workshop. I'm sorry, coming on to consider the vision alignment and what it means. That's one thing. But we're gonna have different interviews with people. And those interviews are going to be all about helping people to understand, and the viewers like you, to understand their vision and how important it was to know what their vision was and their core beliefs, because they wanted to make sure that their core beliefs match their vision. That's important. That's the vision alignment show that will be next week at 10 o'clock. But then this Friday, actually, today at 11:30, we're going to have the Stroke of Genius. And Stroke of Genius is a great show where we have people with disabilities come on and talk about why they have disabilities and what happened, and then how important it is for their caregivers to know certain things about them as being a person that's disabled. We don't get to do this very often with people because disablement really is a tragic thing in a lot of people's lives. But my disablement has caused me to understand my purpose. It was really a gift for me. And I think a lot of other people view it as the same way. So we'll talk with those people, and we'll also talk potentially to their caregivers and understand that caregiver perspective, because we want to make sure that we're helping caregivers, because at one point or another, we're all going to be a caregiver. So the more we'll know about that person that's disabled, the better off we're going to be. Again, I thank you all for being here. I love you. I appreciate everything you've done. So continue to think about how you can know your vision. Oh, and there's my good friend Randall. I think we were going to talk about Randall. Thank you very much. So continue to do that, and just let me know if you have any questions, if there's any way that I can ever help you, and we will talk more soon. Thank you very much. Have a great week and a great weekend. See you. Bye.